Hey everybody, it is Saturday morning and it is an absolutely gorgeous day out, so I thought I would come out here and shoot my first yard tour of the season. I've been out and about a couple of times so far this year. The missus and I have gotten out and we've started raking out the gardens and getting ready for springtime, but really it's still kind of a wreck from the winter, so this is probably not going to be the prettiest of yard tours, but we're going to have a little bit of a look to see what we got going on so far. One thing I am actually excited about, don't know where we're going to put this one yet, is my new Rex begonia, and I just think this one's awesome looking. I'd like to get some of this going downstairs in my waterfall tank, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to work that out. And then these are actually petunias that I had in my waterfall tank, but they were just getting too wet and it wasn't, it just wasn't right for them. So they're going to be out here. You can see we've even still got the snow shovels sitting out, haven't even put them away yet for the year. So we'll walk on over towards the driveway. We got a couple of beds around here by the Bilko doors that are looking good. Unfortunately, some of our daffodils have already come and gone. Even a few of the tulips back there have already come and gone. So I am kind of getting out here late for my first yard tour of the season. So we got all kinds of stuff going on in here. We got a million of these bleeding hearts. And these tulips are actually pretty awesome. I like these a lot. So we got a long way to go as far as the yard really starting to come in. By about mid-June, it's going to look like a completely different yard. So lots of hostas, lots of daylilies. Most everything we have is shade or part shade type plants. I'll give you all a look at my two twin trucks. The red one is my old one. Transmission went up in that one. So I bought this one. And I got screwed. So many things wrong with it, I don't even want to think about it, but we're getting there. I got it almost up and running, and then I'll have to worry about getting rid of the red one. So this is the bed by the side of the driveway. We'll see this again in a few minutes as we come around full circle. But again, just starting to come in. Lots of daylilies, lots of hostas. Some of our earlier spring bulbs have already come and gone. And then come up this way. Pretty much anywhere where there's an old dead tree stump is just surrounded by hostas, lilies, daylilies, that sort of thing. This used to be my fern garden. It's been so many years since I've been up here doing anything with it. There's just not really, can't really even call it a fern garden anymore. It's all overgrown. I used to have paths lined with rocks. I'm sure they're still back there. The rocks didn't get up and leave, but everything is just so overgrown you can't even tell that was once a garden. And I call it my fern garden because all this area where you can see all the, that's just going to explode with fern here in the probably next few days. It's going to start coming up. In fact, it's probably already coming up. Yeah, I can see a few fiddleheads here and there. Actually, we don't even have to go back there. You can see the fiddleheads right there starting to come up. So the fern garden's going to explode any day now. This gives you a look back whence we came. Last year I had, this whole area was covered completely with a canopy of honeysuckle, but it was just getting so big and bushy and it was putting so much shade in the yard. I came through and cut them all down, and you can see all this new growth is coming up off of the stumps. But they were old honeysuckle. It broke my heart having to cut them down. You can see how big those stumps are. So it was really neat. It was really, just a huge canopy over our heads and just covered in honeysuckle in the springtime. It was beautiful. So unfortunately this year we're not going to get to see that. But we will also get to see a little bit more in the way of, sun in the yard. You can see some big patches. That's where I've removed moss for my garden tank downstairs, or for my waterfall tank downstairs. I've taken plugs of moss out of here. So these are all just leaves that we've started raking out of the garden. I'm going to get out on the lawnmower here after a while and start mulching that up and getting rid of it. And we come over here. This top part of the yard is really kind of not a lot going on. I got a bunch of bamboo planted in there to sort of separate us from the neighbors over there. I don't know if you can tell or not, but there's a house right there. And so all this bamboo I've put in here Sort of gives us a nice little screen. And that is my neighbor next door, who I mentioned from time to time. He also keeps fish. We hang out a lot. And this is the garden on the far side of the yard. And this one is just starting to come in. I got lots and lots of stuff. I should actually say my wife has lots and lots of stuff coming up over here. The vast majority of all this stuff is pretty much her doing. I kind of got it started and then lost interest, and she took off with it years ago and has just been going and going and going. And it's still developing. We're still adding to it. We're still expanding it. And as time goes on and I shoot more of these yard tour updates, you'll get to see what I mean about how filled in it is. And I know it's hard to tell, but we've got, you know, stones lining here and here, so there's paths that go through. We got open areas in there. Eventually we're going to sort of expand it down that way further into the woods. But there's a lot of astilbe over here. There's a lot of fern over here. Lots and lots of hosta. Of course, we have hosta everywhere. And that's about all. Not a lot going on. Like I said, it's still fairly early in the year. So this whole front area of the yard is just kind of no man's land. It's sort of a woody sort of area. I don't ever really go down in there. And of course, we can head back over to the house that way. But last year, I made myself a little shortcut down to the mailbox. And so we're going to go get the mail. And we'll finish off by going up the driveway and having a look at the stuff coming up in the driveway. So taking a walk through the woods. Alright, so now here we are on the street. And we're going to check out going up the driveway now. So this will be completely covered by the canopy of trees in short order. And it'll be like driving through a green tunnel. And we have been working on the sides of the driveway where there's bare spots. And of course this side, the erosion and everything going down, we've been plugging fern. You can see all the cinnamon fern. We've been plugging hosta in here and daylilies. We did the row of hosta over there, which again will fill in much more. But here you can see all these little hostas are starting to come up. And once they open up, this whole area will be a lot less, you know, raggedy looking. It'll be just covered in hostas, so that's pretty exciting. And here we are at the top of the driveway. So I'm gonna call it good so I can catch my breath. I'll say thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. I will see you real soon on the next one.